Well, we are back with the Jesse Kelly Show, and I am honored to speak to our next guest. He's a free man as of like 5 minutes ago. Joining me now, Peter Navarro. Everyone knows who Peter Navarro is. He wrote the book, The New MAGA Deal, and probably more importantly for our conversation today, a political prisoner who just now got out. Peter, look, I give you the floor. You're the one who just did 4 months unjustly in jail. You talk about what you want to talk about.
Well, I did write the new MAGA deal, but what's important is it just came out this week on my birthday, Monday, and they wouldn't let me out of prison for my 75th birthday, a day early. But look, the new MAGA deal itself is important because you look at it. You viewers can't see it, but
they can
the listeners.
See it.
Okay, so check out who's on it. You got the president, myself, and a forward by Steve Bannon, right? Steve and I went to prison. He's still there. I just got out. And now they're not just shooting figurative bullets at Trump. They're shooting literal bullets. It's like, this is the world we live in. And one of my taglines tonight in the speech is, I went to prison so you won't have to. I'm your wake-up call. And the way I set that up thematically is with the message that if we don't control our government will control us. And what happened, the way they got me into prison, is every branch of our government, all three branches of our government participated. Democrat majority in the House holds me in contempt. Democrat Attorney General indicts and prosecutes me for a crime that never's been a crime before in this country. Democrat judge strips me of every single defense and throws me in jail with a D.C. jury that voted for Trump. I mean, this didn't happen in communist China or Banana Republic. It happened right here in the United States. And this weaponization of our injustice system, I think, is an important wake-up call for the American people, because if it can happen to me, it can happen to you. If you go to a school board meeting and speak up about reading, writing, arithmetic instead of some of this woke stuff they're doing, and the next thing you know, you got the FBI, which stands for Federal Bureau of Intimidation, knocking on your door. So the new MAGA deal is going to be my way of carrying the message that what we stand for is Main Streets. They're going to try to portray us as something else, but we're going to get this done. And if I can be an important symbol, no matter how small, of why it's important to stand up for your Constitution and country and point out what they're doing to us, then maybe almost it was worth going.
We are joined, in case you're wondering who this is just now joining us, we are joined by Peter Navarro, of course, alumni of the Trump administration, author of the book, The New MAGA Deal, and more importantly, just got out of prison after 4 months. Peter, one of the stories, you and I have talked before more than once on the air, one of the stories that I find so illuminating about how evil our bureaucracy has gotten is actually the circumstances around your arrest. Would you mind doing a little rewind? I'm sure you're not in love with reliving this, but would you mind recapping for us exactly how did they take down the dastardly Peter Navarro?
So I live, when I was in D.C., right across the street from the FBI. I was a field goal kicker in high school. I could literally kick a field goal and hit the FBI building. That's how close I am to that. So that fateful day, June 3rd, when they would take me, that's what they did, my beautiful fiance and I got in an Uber and went to Reagan Airport. We're going to go do the Mike Huckabee show, having the time of our lives. The next thing we know, as we're boarding the plane, 5 armed FBI agents come in, surround me and my beautiful girl.
As you're boarding the plane?
As you're boarding the plane, put me in handcuffs, perp walk her off, and I wind up in leg irons, and it was one phone call. Hey, Peter, we got a indictment, come surrender yourself. Sure, what time? Whatever. That's what they do. That's how they roll. And fast forward, it's like when I got convicted of this non-crime, just standing up for the Constitution, what Judge Ahmed Maida, a Democrat, Obama appointee, should have done was release me pending appeal, because my case will go to the appeals court, and I'm sure it will go to the Supreme Court. It's a landmark case on the Constitution. Does Congress have the authority to subpoena a senior presidential advisor? And the answer since the days of George Washington has always been no, because I'm an alter ego of the president. You can't subpoena the president. You can't subpoena me. And the reason why the Supreme Court has said that's important is because a president needs candor and confidentiality in communications with his advisors in order to make the best possible decisions for this country. Full stop.
Yep.
Full stop. And when Congress uses its subpoena power to drag me or the president or anybody in between that works in the White House to Congress, that shatters the separation of powers. So I will either win my appeal or the constitutional separation of powers will be shattered. What do you think is going to happen? That SOB, Ahmed Maida, the judge, would not let me be released pending appeal. If I lost the appeal, fine, I go to prison. So what happens if I win the appeal? I already did 4 months. What kind of justice is that? It's called irreparable harm. But let me just, while we're here, because I know time's going to be short, I see you've got the remarks of JD Vance. I want to tell you how good a choice I think JD Vance is for vice president. And the way I want to do is start with Kamala Harris. And the question I'm asking every reporter and host that do you remember what's the only major task that Joe Biden gave Kamala Harris in her entire 4 years? The borders are. She goes down there, sticks her nose up in the air, smells that stench coming across the Rio Grande, turns tail, goes back to D.C., and millions of murderers, rapists, sex traffickers, drug cartels, Islamic terrorists, communist Chinese spies, and millions of illiterate illegal aliens coming to flood our labor markets and drive down the wages and steal the jobs of black, brown, and blue-collar Americans. Do you think if Donald John Trump had said to J.D. Vance, go down, you're my border guy now, that he would have come back and done that? No, he would have completed the mission like the good soldier he has been, and like the MAGA guy he is, who understands how important a secure border is to this country. J.D. Vance has Make America Great in his veins and in his DNA, because he grew up suffering from what I was studying at 30,000 feet. Think about this. I've never met the man, but I consider myself one side of the same coin as his. I'm up at 30,000 feet in 2003, 2004, watching China steal all our jobs as they come into the WTO, wreck our country and our economy. I can't see him down there. He's a speck. But he's a speck with millions of Americans, his mother, his father, his friends, his colleagues, his community. And he felt the carnage at the front lines as I'm studying at 30,000 feet. And we both came to the same conclusion as Donald Trump did. It's like, defend our manufacturing base at all costs.
Peter, I am so glad you're a free man. I am sorry you had to go through it. I wish you the best. Man. The book is The New MAGA Deal. He's Peter Navarro. I have a lot of respect for you, sir,
what
you've
gone
through. I respect you very much. Man, just did 4 months in the clink completely unjustly. Wrap your minds around that. Not only did he live across the street from the FBI, he, just very similar to that pastor, Mark Houck, the pro-life pastor, Peter Navarro had his attorney tell the FBI, hey, if you're ever going to arrest me or whatever, just let me know and I'll come turn myself in peacefully. Instead, they said, no, don't bother, and waited till they could swarm him in front of everybody at the airport, adding humiliation to everything else they do. Now, That is an evil organization, all right? All right, we still have a ton to get to. In fact, we're going to talk about a lot of these street animals and what they have what they have going on, what they've already done. We just saw a street animal try to kill Donald Trump. We're going to talk to Julio Rosas about that and some other things in just a moment. Before we do that, I want to talk to you about living life miserably, or at least in a war zone. That's an experience that most Americans have never known and will never know, and I'm glad for that, right? It's not as if I have any desire to have you live in a war zone of any kind, but people right now in Israel are. They are. It's a war every day. People are dying every day. People are going hungry. People are homeless. This is the reality on the ground. What IFCJ is doing, well, I mean, I don't have enough time to list all the things they're doing as far as providing medical care, shelter, firefighting equipment, bomb shelters, you name it, they're doing it. But what they ask from us is a pledge, just signing a pledge. You don't even have to come up with your own. If you go to supportifcj.org, you will see a pledge there for you to sign. And they're going to go turn it in over there saying, hey, we stand with you. Go sign it. Supportifcj.org. We'll be back.